Yeah. 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 The moss on the north side don't gotta compete. It just grows where the sun forgets to beat down. Too harsh, too bright, too high. It takes what it's given and it likes what it's got. Cool and damp, shaded and still. No ambition to climb, no windowsill. No desire to be something it ain't. Just green on bark, a velvet paint. That the rain keeps wet and the shade keeps soft. It don't look down and it don't look aloft. It just clings and spreads at its own slow pace. In its own little patch of shade and space. And I feel that way some days, you know, when the light's too much and I gotta go slow. Find me a spot where the pressure's less, where I can just be still and rest in the quiet. Yeah. Moss on the north side, growing in the shade. Ain't in a hurry, ain't trying to make the grade. Yeah, the sun don't reach here, but that's alright. Moss on the north side, living in the quiet light. Walk through the woods where the trail gets thin, where the city noise gets swallowed in. The green and the brown, the rot and the new. The cycle of things coming into view and then fading out, making room for more. The forest floors, a busy door of life and death and life again. A lesson in how to break and bend without breaking all the way through. Just changing form, just being new in a different shape, a different way. Like the moss on the north side, day after day, just quietly being what it's supposed to be. Not asking the sun to notice me, not asking the rain to fall less hard, just taking what comes in my own backyard of being. Moss on the north side, growing in the shade. Ain't in a hurry, ain't trying to make the grade. Yeah, the sun don't reach here, but that's alright. Moss on the north side, living in the quiet light. I met a woman on the trail, gray in her hair. Said she'd been walking these woods for 50 years. Knew every tree by the shape of its bark. Knew where the light fell, knew where the dark held on longest. Knew where the moss grew thickest and softest. Never at a loss for word about the forest, the way that it lives. Without ever taking, without ever giving anything but itself, just being there. And she said the moss don't need the sun's glare to be beautiful, to be green, to be soft. It finds its own way, it grows aloft in its own low manner, close to the ground. The most important things are rarely found in the brightest light. Yeah. I gotta come on down. Yeah. Yeah. I gotta come on down. Yeah. 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 Got a piece of pine wood and a pocket knife, whittling away the edges of the day of the life that keeps piling up in curls on the floor. Shaving after shaving, I ain't asking for more than this right here. The slow car that's taking to something rough and leaving a scar. It's smooth to the touch, intentional and slow, like the way the river cuts the valley, you know. It ain't in a hurry, it just keeps on moving and moving until the shape is drawn by the patience of water, the persistence of time. And I'm sitting here whittling, trying to make mine into something that feels like it always was there, hidden in the grain, floating in air, just waiting for the blade to come along and find the shape that's been there since the beginning of time. Waiting, whittle and wait, that's the slow man's way. Let the wood tell you what it wants to say. Yeah, the shape was there always, hiding in the grain, whittling away. Let the patience explain. Let the patience explain. Yeah, my hands remember things my mind forgot. The feel of the handle in a sweaty spot. The way the wood gives when you find the grain. The way the shavings curl like a summer rain on a dusty window. Streaks in the glass, moments that are never gonna last, but leave a mark, a streak, a trace of a human being in a human place, doing human things with human hands, carving out a life in these borrowed lands that we walk on, talk on, sleep on, dream. That's all much harder than it seems to just be present, just be here with a piece of wood and a knife and no fear of wasting time. Cause time is all that any of us really got, standing tall or sitting low, whittling away. That's the slow man's way. Let the wood tell you what it wants to say. Yeah, the shape was there always, hiding in the grain, whittling away. Let the patience explain. Let the patience explain. My granddaddy taught me when I was just a kid, never forced the wood boy do what it did in the growing. Follow the grain, follow the line. The tree's been working on it for a long, long time. You're just the one who gets to see it through, to let the hidden shape come out and say I do to the world that been waiting, to the hands that been holding the secret inside that's slowly unfolding like a flower in slow motion, like a sunrise in your palm. Just whittle and wait, let the rest be the calm that settles around you when you ain't in a rush. Just the wood and the knife and the hush. Let it come, let it come. Let the shape was there, always there.
Yeah. The bees in the clover got no overtime pay, no boss man breathing down the necks all day. They just go about it methodical and slow, from the purple blossom to the honeycomb glow of the hive in the hollow of the old oak tree that's been standing longer than you or me. Been standing since before this town was a town, before the streets were paved and the stores put down. Roots in the earth and a hum in the air, a whole civilization without a single care about the stock market or the evening news, about who's winning, who's got something to prove. They just make honey, they just make more bees, they just dance their directions in the afternoon breeze. And I sit here watching, feeling kinda small, but also part of something, connected to it all by the buzz. Home of the hive, buzzing in the sun. Everybody's got a job, everybody's got one. Yeah, they work without worry, they rest without shame. Home of the hive, we're all part of the game. Yeah, the queen don't ask questions, she just does her thing, laying down the future while the workers bring the nectar and pile and the gold and the dust, the tiny little pieces of the flowers they trust to keep on producing and keep on giving, to make all this buzzing worth the living. And the dying that comes when the summer is done, when the flowers are faded and the honey is won and stored in the comb for the cold months ahead. When the hum gets quiet and the hive goes to bed in a cluster of warmth, a shivering ball, waiting for the spring to come and call them back to the clover, back to the sun, back to the rhythm of the only one job they know, the only life they got, and they live it fully, whether it's cold or hot, without complaining. Hum of the high, buzzing in the sun. Everybody's got a job, everybody's got one. Yeah, they work without worry, they rest without shame. Hum of the high, we're all part of the game. I asked an old beekeeper once, what's it all about? The sting and the honey, the swarm and the drought. He just smiled slow, pulled smoke from his pipe, said, son, the bees ain't thinking, they just living their life. And that's the lesson, right there in the comb. Don't overcomplicate your way back home. Just do what you do, let the hum be your guide. Let the sweetness accumulate deep inside. Where the winter can't get it, where the cold don't reach. Just a jar full of summer, a lesson the bees been teaching for millions of years without a word. And the loudest sermon is the one you never heard, but you feel. Everybody's got one. Yeah, they work without worry, they rest without shame. Hum of the high, we're all part of the game. Hum of the high, let it buzz, let it buzz, let it buzz, let it. Hum of the high, full of summer, full of summer, full of summer. Hum of the high, hum of the high. Let it buzz, let it buzz.
Yeah. The river don't ask where you been or why. It just takes what you give it, lets the rest float by. Like that piece of driftwood I saw yesterday, tangled in the reeds, washed up in the gray mist of the morning, wet and warm, smooth. Rode the rapids and the calm, got nothing to prove to nobody. Just lying there still, letting the sun bake it, letting time fill its cracks with the silk of 100 miles. A journey in patience, of trials and trials that ended right here on this muddy bank, where the current slows and the thoughts can tank and just settle, just rest, just be what they are. A piece of the story, a wandering star that fell from the forest into the flow, and now it's just waiting for wherever it goes next. Driftwood dreams floating on the tide, no rudder, no anchor, nothing to hide. Yeah, the river decides when and where I land. Driftwood dreams, just a shell in the sand. Yeah, yeah. Driftwood dreams, yeah. Just a shell in the sand. Yeah, met an old fisherman, lines in his face, casting from the bank at a leisurely pace. Said he's been coming here for 40-odd years. Caught some fish, lost some bait, shed some tears, right into the water where they mix with the rain and the runoff from the fields and the diesel from the train that rumbles across the trestle twice a day, shaking the banks in a methodical way. He said, son, the secret ain't in what you're hauling, it's in the waiting itself, the place that you've been sitting and thinking, watching the wood float by with its stories, misunderstood by the ones who ain't patient, the ones in a rush. They see just debris, I see a hush. It settles around you when you realize that everything passes, that nothing entices you down. Driftwood dreams floating on the tide, no rudder, no anchor, nothing to hide. Yeah, the river decides when and where I land. Driftwood dreams, just a shell in the sand. Yeah, yeah. Driftwood dreams, yeah. Just a shell in the sand. I picked up that driftwood, held it in my hand, felt the smoothness there, felt the grain of the land it came from. The forest, the mountain, the stream, the whole long story carved into a dream of floating and resting, a bumping and scraping. I'm never quite knowing what shape you'll be taking next when the water decides to let go and leave you somewhere the sun can take it slow, baking you dry till the next big rain comes to carry you out to the wild blue again. Driftwood, just float, whisper, next rain, carry me out.
Yeah. The crickets tuning up like an orchestra pit. In the grass by the fence where the shadows sit. Watching me, watching them, a mutual stare between the creatures of the night and the man in the chair who forgot his own name for a minute or two. Just a heartbeat and breathe and the cricket's point of view on the world and its rhythm is constant. Demand to chirp when you're supposed to play in the band. Whether you know the song or not, whether you care if the tempo is perfect or slightly unfair. To the ones who sing slower, the ones who hang back, waiting for the moment when the night goes black. Enough to feel hidden, enough to feel free, to make your own cadence, your own melody that don't have to match the one in the grass, just has to be yours as the moments pass into memory. Crickets and cadence, keeping time with the dark. Every voice gets a verse, every heart gets a spark. Yeah, the rhythm ain't rushed, it just rolls and repeats. Crickets and cadence, out here in the streets of the night. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Neighborhoods asleep or at least trying hard. Blinds drawn tight, cars in the yard looking like metal animals, resting from the race of the daily commute. From place to place to place, always moving, always in a hurry. Missing the night music, missing the worry that ain't worth having, the stress that ain't real, just a product of the pressure to produce and feel like you're getting somewhere, like you're on the right track. While the crickets just sing and don't look back at the miles they covered, the ground they gained. They just make their noise and they don't explain or justify, approve or defend. They just chirp till the night decides to end, and then they're quiet, and then they're done. Another night over, another victory won by the silence. Crickets and cadence, keeping time with the dark. Every voice gets a verse, every heart gets a spark. Yeah, the rhythm ain't rushed, it just rolls and repeats. Crickets and cadence, out here in the streets of the night. I read somewhere that crickets chirp faster when it's hot. They got a built-in thermometer for the temperature of their car. In the living gauge of the world's current state, they don't overthink it, they don't hesitate. They just match the rhythm to the heat in the air. While I sit here wondering if I should care about things I can't change, about things I can't fix. Just watching the minutes do their slow, steady ticks. Into hours, into years, into all that I am. A man with a heartbeat, a part of the plan that the crickets are singing, that the night understands without ever once moving its shadowy hands to conduct. Cadence, keeping time. Faster when it's hot, slower when it's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. The old oak's been standing since before I was born. Through a run of summers, through 1,000 storms. Its roots run deeper than my problems go, then my worries stretch, then my fear can grow. Down into the dark where the water sits still, where the truth gets quiet and dance to the will of the earth itself. The patience of dirt, the way it holds everything, doesn't get hurt by the way the bullet just carries below. While the oak stands guard on the same patch of road that I walk every evening when the sun gets low, when the day's heat breaks and the cool starts to flow. Like the river nearby, the one I can hear when the wind is right and the traffic is clear. Just a murmur, a whisper, a constant reminder that movement and stillness can exist side by side in the same moment. Roots and drift, that's the dance I know. Feet in the soil, but my mind can go where the river takes it, where the current pulls. Roots and drift, my cup stays full. Found an old photograph in the box in the shed. My grandfather young, with a hat on his head and a fish in his hands, bigger than his smile, standing by a river that's been running a while. Longer than him, longer than me, carrying the same water to the same sea. And I wondered if he felt what I feel now, the mix of rooted and drifting, the how and the why of it all, to need to hold on to the people and places that made you and gone. Like the fish he was holding, like the hat on his head, like the river that carried the moment, the dead and alive at the same time, still moving along, carrying a smile in its current, a song that I'm hearing now, faint but clear, through the years and the miles, through the joy and the fear of continuing. Roots and drift, that's the dance I know. Feet in the soil, but my mind can't go where the river takes it, where the current pulls. Roots and drift, my cup stays full. My grandmother told me, baby, you gotta be like the willow by the water, bending but free. The roots hold you steady when the flood waters rise, but the branches can dance with whatever breeze flies. Through your life, through your days, through your changes and pains, the roots remember home. The drifting remains the part that keeps moving, the part that explores, the part that keeps knocking on new and on doors. They've been waiting for you to come walk on through, with your roots in the ground and your dreams making dew on the grass of tomorrow. The river knows. Yeah. The space between the raindrops, that's where I live now. Where the wet ain't quite wet and the dry don't know how to claim you completely, you're just hanging in the middle, solving life's riddle with a shrug and a fiddle made of imagination, strings made of air, playing a tune that don't go nowhere. It just floats and hovers, hangs like smoke from a fire that went out, but the story's still stoked. The embers in your chest, the warmth in your bones, the quiet acknowledgement that you're mostly alone but not lonely. See, there's a difference there. Lonely's empty, alone's just a chair with you in it, breathing, watching the world spin on its tilted axis, trying to fit in, but you don't need to fit when you live in the cracks between the expectation and the actual facts of a life. Living in the space between, where the edges blur, neither here nor there, just a quiet murmur. Yeah, the lines are all faded, the definition lean. Living in the space between the seen and the unseen. Yeah, yeah. Saw a spider build a web from the porch to the tree. Took her all morning, patient and free, not asking permission, not checking the time, just following a rhythm, a silk-covered rhyme that she learned from nobody knew from the start. The architecture of catching things, the art of creating a trap that looks like a dream, glistening with dew when the early lights gleam. And I thought about all the webs that I spin, the ones that catch nothing, the ones that wear thin, the ones that look pretty from the outside looking in, but inside the spinner's exhausted and thin from the effort of keeping it all in the air. The strands of connection, the threads of care. Maybe the secret's not in the building so tight, but in leaving some gaps, letting in some light and some air. Living in a space between, where the edges blur, neither here nor there, just a quiet murmur. Yeah, the lines are all faded, the definitions lean. Living in the space between the seen and the unseen. My neighbor lost his wife last spring. Now he sits on the steps with a coffee that cools and a mind that just lets the memories wash over, the grief and the grace. He told me, son, the hardest part ain't the empty space she left behind, it's the space that was always there. Between the breaths, between the words, between the love and the care, that I never noticed when she was here to feel it. Now I feel it always and I always will it. Just is what it is. Just is what it is. Just live there, not here, not there. The porch lights got a halo tonight. Bugs swirling around, dancing like they found their own show and tell. And maybe they did, maybe this is it. The warm glow in the home, the place where I sit, watching the street lights flicker down the block. One of them's been stuttering since 6 o'clock, like it's trying to decide if it wants to be day or night. I know the feeling, I've been in that fight with myself for years, the in-between place where you're not quite lost, but you're losing the race. To find a direction that feels like your own, not the one they gave you, not the one that's been sewn into your skin since you were small enough to hold. Now you're grown and the story's gotten old, but you're still telling it, hoping it might change. While the porch light burns steady, keeping the range of your vision clear. Porch light philosophy, keeping the dark at bay. Not too bright, not too dim, just enough to find your way. Yeah, the answers might be out there in the shadows passed along. Porch light
I'll find them by dawn. Yeah. Mailman came and went, left a stack of bills and a catalog for the things that give me chills. Not the good kind, the kind that makes you wanna spend money you don't have on a means to an end that never arrives, just keeps on the truck, circling the block, running out of luck. Trying to deliver a happiness that's sold in pages shiny and bright and bold. I lifted on the step, let the dude do his work, soak through the promises, let the colors go murk until it's just pulp, just paper, just wet. A reminder that the best things you haven't bought yet are free and are sitting right here on this porch in a creaky old rocker with a flickering torch of a bulb that's been burning longer than me, holding off the darkness so my mind can be free to wander. Porch light philosophy, keeping the dark at bay. Not too bright, not too dim, just enough to find your way. The answers might be out there in the shadows passed along. Porch light philosophy, I'll find them by dawn. Sister called the night, voice heavy and slow, says she's tired of fighting with the undertow of a life that keeps pulling her out to sea. I said, sister, come on over, sit right here by me and watch the light flicker, watch the bugs out there dance. Sometimes the only answer is just giving circumstance a chance to show you what it's got without you pushing back. Just let the wave rock you, let the light paint you black and white in every shade between there you can find. The porch will hold you steady, leave your worries behind for a minute.
Yeah. The lake don't ask questions, it just holds what falls. Sticks and stones, the echo of loon calls. My own reflection when I lean too far, staring back at me, wondering who we are. Two of us connected by a thin sheet of glass, one above breathing, one below, waiting to pass. Judgment or mercy, I can never tell which one's the heaven and which one's the hell. Of looking at yourself from the outside in, seeing all the places where the wear and the thin of the fabric shows through the patches and tears, the accumulated weight of the years sitting on your shoulders, on your face, in your eyes. But the water smooths it over, it gentle the lies. You tell yourself daily, it reflects them back true. Just a rippling version of the version of you that you thought you were hiding. Yeah. Still water logic, ain't gotta run deep, just gotta be honest about the secrets you keep. Yeah, the surface might ripple, but the bottom is calm. Still water logic, floating like a song. Still water logic, 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 yeah. fly lands on the end of the dock, wings catching sunlight, a living clock, ticking off seconds in a language I can't read, but I feel the meaning in the speed of its departure, quick as it came, leaving just a wobble in the water's name. Circles expanding, fading to nothing, like a thought you had that kept on blushing till it turned transparent, invisible, gone. But the moment it happened, the moment was dawn inside your head. A new kind of light, a dragonfly teaching you how to take flight from the dock of your worries, the period of pain. Just a quick little lift and you're out in the rain. A possibility, wet and alive, watching the still water settle and thrive beneath you. Still water logic, ain't gotta run deep, just gotta be honest about the secrets you keep. Yeah, the surface might ripple, but the bottom is calm. Still water logic, floating like a song. Still water logic, yeah. Still water logic. Still water logic. Still water logic. Still water logic, yeah. Granddaddy fished here 50 years or more, never caught much, but he kept coming back to shore. I asked him why once, he just laughed and spat, said, boy, it ain't about the fish, it's about where your mind's at. When you're waiting on something that might never bite, you learn to appreciate the silence and the light, the way it hits the water, way the day goes slow. You stop asking where you're going and start knowing where you can go. It's right here. It's right here. Still water, let it hold, let it hold. Bottoms come, so come. The pine needles make a carpet soft and brown, cushion for my footsteps when I walk this town of trees and shadows, quiet and deep, secrets that the forest is happy to keep. Tucked in the roots, wrapped in the dirt, lessons you learn when you let the silence hurt in a good way, the way a stretch feels right after sleeping wrong on a long hard night. I come out here when the world gets tight, when the walls start closing and the words ain't polite. The pines don't care about my job or my debt, they just stand there watching, ancient and wet with the morning dew or the evening rain, absorbing my troubles again and again, like they got a capacity I ain't got, a root system deeper than a worried thought can reach. Beneath the pines, where the light comes down in strands, weaving through the needles like careful hands. Yeah, the world gets simpler, the noise unwinds beneath the pines, leaving my worries behind. Found a circle of stone, someone's old fire pit, charcoal and ash, but the flames long quit. Just a ring of rocks holding on to a ghost of warmth and stories of whoever hosted the night out here under the same stars that blink through the branches like memory cars. Driving through your mind on a late night cruise with nothing to gain and nothing to lose. Just the ride itself, the hum of the road, the weight of the past and the lightness it owed to the present moment, to the crackle and pop of a fire that's been out for a minute or a lot of years. I can't tell, time moves different here, marked by the growth rings year after year, not by the minutes ticking on a plastic clock, but by the slow, sure movement of a mossy rock shifting beneath the pines, where the light comes down in strands, weaving through the needles like careful hands. Yeah, the world gets simpler, the noise unwinds beneath the pines, leaving my worries behind. Yeah, hey, no. I heard a wise man say, the tallest trees you see got their strength from standing quietly through storm and drought, through freezing thaw, not by moving fast, but by holding on raw to the ground beneath them, to the sun above, to the simple patient that could just be in love, and root and branch and needle and cone, a living example of how to stand alone but connected.
them stand. Let them stand. Connected. Always connected.
Tree's been holding this hammock for 10 years or more. They don't keep a calendar, they don't keep a score. They just stretch out their branches and hold on tight while I swing between them from morning to night or just the afternoon. Depends on the light, depends on how heavy my bones feel today. Sometimes they're feathers, sometimes they're clay. Sometimes they're somewhere in the middle, that gray. Everywhere moving feels like a choice you can make, but also not making it feels like a break. You deserve, you earn, you paid for and stress with the pennies of worry and the dollars of guesswork that never ends, work that never asks. If you're tired, it just hands you another task. So I leave them hanging, the tasks and the list, the emails, the errands, the clenched up fists. And I climb in the fabric, let it hold all my weight. Let the trees do the work, let them carry my fate for a minute. Hammock theory, baby, let the earth do the rest. The strong arms are the ones that know when to rest. Yeah, the knots tied tight, so I can let go. Hammock theory, letting the rock slow. Hammock theory, baby, let the earth do the rest. The strong arms are the ones that know when to rest. Yeah, the knots tied tight, so I can let go. Hammock theory, letting the rock slow. Up above, the leaves are whispering secrets to the sky about all the creatures that wandered by. The squirrel with the nut and the crow with the grudge. The caterpillar turning into something that won't judge. The life it left behind, a slow crawl on the ground. Now it's got wings and a whole new sound. A flutter, a freedom, a different kind of view. From up here in the branches, I feel that way too. Detached from the dirt but still tied to the root. Still drinking the same water, still part of the shoot that grows toward the sun, that filters through the green. Paint spots of light on me, it constantly changes scene. A living kaleidoscope, a slow motion show. And I'm the audience of one with nowhere to go and nothing to do but watch the light move and let my own thoughts smooth and groove into nothing. Hammock theory, baby, let the earth do the rest. The strong arms are the ones that know when to rest. Yeah, the knots tied tight, so I can let go. Hammock theory, letting the rock slow. Hammock theory, baby, let the earth do the rest. The strong arms are the ones that know when to rest. Yeah, the knots tied tight, so I can let go. Hammock theory, letting the rock slow. My old man used to say the strongest tree in the storm ain't the one that stands rigid, it's the one that can bend and conform to the wind's direction and spring back when it's done. The bending ain't breaking, son, the bend is the fun. The dance with the pressure, the give and the take, the art of not spinning for your own dang sake. I think about that, swaying here in the breeze with the branches above me and the roots in the seas, the dirt underneath, holding everything fast while I swing in the middle, making the moment last. Knots tied tight, so tight. Yeah. 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 The screen door's got a squeak I've been meaning to fix, but it grows on you like a voice on the radio mix that you hated at first. Now you hum on the low. Funny how the irritations learn to flow right into the background part of the scene, like the crack in the ceiling or the fridge's routine. Hum and rattle, rattle and hum, telling me the day's done, telling me to come on outside and sit where the shadows stretch long, where the right feels right and the wrong don't feel wrong. It just feels like a lesson you ain't learned yet. Sitting on the steps, no need to get upset, cause the night's too pretty and the air's too still to be wasting energy on a bitter pill. Just let it dissolve, let it melt on the tongue. The taste will fade out before the next song sung by the crickets. There's a lazy man's logic, ain't gotta make sense. Just gotta feel right on the right side of the fence. Yeah, the hard work's for the hard times. These times are soft. There's a lazy man's logic, let the mind drift off. Yeah, Lord, yeah. Neighbors cutting his grass, roaring like a beast, chopping down the dandelions, killing the feast for the bees and the beetles that don't gotta vote, just trying to make a living on the green stuff that floats up from the earth when the earth feel like giving. Meanwhile the man is sweating, cussing, living like the lawns is religion and the stripes are his God. I watch from the porch thinking that's kinda odd, but also kinda beautiful the way we all chase our own little order in this wide and woolly place. I'll take my order messy with the weeds growing high and the clover in the corners, kissing the sky with their pink little heads, bobbing in the breeze while the man on the mower works himself to his knees for a greener tomorrow that's already green. If you just let your eyes see what they haven't seen in the chaos. There's a lazy man's logic, ain't gotta make sense. Just gotta feel right on the right side of the fence. Yeah, the hard work's for the hard times. These times are soft. There's a lazy man's logic, let the mind drift off. Met a preacher on a street corner, Bible in his hand, telling everybody about the promised land. I said, brother, I'm already there, right here on this street, with the sun on my shoulders and the dirt on my feet, and the sound of that mower and the smell of that grass, and the feel of these moments that move slow and pass, like a gift you don't open cause the wrapping's too fine. You just hold it and feel it and call it all mine, for a second or two, for a blink of an eye, before the promised land turns in another goodbye. He just looked at me, didn't have a reply, just nodded real slow and I saw a tear in his eye. Or maybe it was sweat from the heat and the strain. Either way I think he felt the same kind of rain falling inside. Let it drip, let it drip. Don't gotta make sense, don't gotta make sense. Silence. Yeah. The sun went down about an hour ago, left his fingerprints all over the afterglow. Orange and pink bleeding in the deep blue black, like a bruise you don't mind getting, wouldn't take back, cause it reminds you that you felt something real today, even if that something was just watching the day slide off the edge like a stone in the pond. Ripples out behind it in the air beyond, gets still and heavy, gets thick like molasses. Time moving slow through the window glasses of the house has been here longer than I've been alive. Feeling the past and the present both arrive at the same damn moment, right here in this chair, with the crickets warming up and a breeze in the air that smell like somebody's barbecue and cut grass, and all the little moments that never last but leave a taste. Sitting in the glow where the edges disappear, the sharp lines of the day go soft around here. Yeah, the light's almost gone, but it's still hanging on. Sitting in the glow till the night is born. Yeah. Tonight is born.
dancing on the table, face down and asleep. Don't know who's calling, don't know what they need. And that's the point, right? The not knowing and the peace that comes from letting the urgency cease to exist for a minute, for an hour, for the night. The world will still be there when I turn on the light tomorrow morning, with his problems and his plans, and shaking of the hands and his rubber band, stretching me back into shape, into line, into place. But right now I'm formless, I got time and I got space to just be a person, not a function or a name, not a destination, not a win or a loss in the game. Just a warm body in a warm chair, breathing in and out, with a head full of questions and a heart full of doubt. But the doubt don't feel heavy, it just floats on by like a cloud through the twilight, way up high and harmless. Yeah. Sitting in the glow where the edges disappear, the sharp lines of the day go soft around here. Yeah, the light's almost gone, but it's still hanging on. Sitting in the glow till the night is born. Till the night is born. Yeah. My mother used to say the gloaming is the best, the time between the roost and the time for rest, when the world holds its breath for just a little while, and you can see the kindness in a stranger's smile, or the lack of it. But even that feels more true in the half light, the half truths, the half me and half you that meets in the middle, where the colors all blend and the day finds a way to make peace with its end. And she was right. Afternoon slip through my fingers like sand, or maybe honey slow and sweet. Ain't that the plan, to let the hours stick till you weigh your pockets down, with the goal of doing nothing in a sleepy town, where the main drag just a thought that never came to life. Just a couple rusty mailboxes and a dog without a wife, or a girlfriend just a fire hydrant and a dream of a fire that ain't coming, or so it would seem. But the dog don't seem to mind it, he just lays her in the shade, watching the heat waves wobble, watching the money fade from my back pocket, where I keep my lucky stone, smooth from years of handling, smooth from being alone in my grip, when the grip needs something solid to hold, when the stories get too heavy and the truth gets too cold. I just rub it, feel the weight, feel the history in the grain of a rock that don't know nothing and feels no pain, just is. Gravity's let up, I'm lighter than I was. The things that used to hold me down just because they could, they don't anymore. They lost their pull. Gravity's let up, my cup's finally full. Ran into a stranger at the corner store. He was arguing with the clerk about a lottery score. Said he was one number off from $1 million life. Now he's stuck with Monday, stuck with the strife for the everyday grind, the coffee and the clock, the boss man's whistling, the endless tick-tock of a clock that don't care if you won off or not. It just keeps on moving, keeping everyone hot under the collar, under the fluorescent light, fighting over nothing in the middle of the night for a ticket that's a promise that probably won't come true. I paid for my gum and stepped out into the blue, where the evening air cool and thick as velvet. Thought about the stranger in the hand that he was dealt, and how close and far them numbers really are from changing anything, from moving the star you wish on. My granddaddy told me luck ain't in the draw, luck's waking up, breathing, luck's knowing what you saw when you looked in the mirror and didn't look away, even when the man looking back had nothing to say that you wanted to hear. Just the truth standing there with his hands in his pockets and a little less hair, and a whole lot of miles on a worn-out pair of shoes, and the wisdom to know when you got nothing to lose by just sitting still.
Gravity, let up, let up. I'm lighter now, so much lighter, full. Yeah. Hey.
Yeah. Yeah. Check the clock, there's numbers on the face. Ain't got no meaning in this time and place, where the afternoon melts in the evening soup, and the plans I made got lost in a group of thoughts that wandered off without a map. Found a quarter in the couch, that's a little nap. In currency terms, but in real life terms, it's a phone call to nobody. Let it ring and squirm on the hook by the kitchen where the light hangs low, casting shadows on the floor that got places to go. Before I move a muscle or a bone, just vibing with the settle, vibing with the tone of a house that's breathing easy, creaks and groans, talking to itself in the language it owns. And I'm just a guest here, rent paid in size, watching the dust motes dance in front of my eyes, like they know the choreography better than me. Spinning in the sunlight, wild and free and simple. Yeah. Mellow, taking it easy, taking it slow. Let the river of the day just roll where it wanna go. Yeah, the high notes come and go, but the low notes stick around. Mellow, feet on the ground, head in the cloud. Yeah, in the cloud. My buddy called me up, said he's chasing a bag. Got his eyes on the prize, his foot on the gas. I said, brother, right here, you hope you catch what you chase. But me, I'm out here finding my own kind of grace, in the spaces between the have to and the won't. In the garden, I'm back growing stuff that I don't even recognize, but it's green and it's tall. Kinda like my expectations after I dropped the ball, on purpose just to see how it feels to let go, to watch the pieces scatter and not try to control where they land. Let them rest where they fall. They ought to grow around them, ain't no trouble at all. Just a different kind of order, a different kind of plan, the one you don't write down cause it's out of your hands, and that's freedom. Wrapped in a lazy afternoon, humming through the screen door a familiar tune from childhood. Taking it easy, taking it slow. Let the river of the day just roll where it wanna go. Yeah, the high notes come and go, but the low notes stick around. Mellow, feet on the ground, head in the cloud. Yeah, in the clouds. Past the church this morning, doors wide open wide. Didn't go in, but I felt something rise inside. Not the call to worship, more the call to just be still. Like the air inside the building when it's waiting to fill, with the faithful and the doubtful, the broken and the whole. Everybody looking for a hand to hold. I held my own, felt the bones and the skin, the warmth of being living the place I'm in right now. Not later, not yesterday's regret, just a quiet breath of now, the best I've gotten yet. At accepting. Let it roll, let it roll. Yeah.
Storm rolling like I thought I've been avoiding. Flash of bright white, got my eyelids closing. Counting the seconds till the boom catches up. Like my own reflection, moving slower than my gut. Tell me I should hustle, tell me I should run, but the rain on the tin roof says, son, you ain't done sitting yet, listen yet, feeling the way. The world gets quiet when it's got something to say. So I let it speak in droplets, let it speak in drums. Let the whole damn sky tell me where my freedom comes from. And it comes from moments like this one right here, when the only thing you're chasing is the atmosphere, open and cool, washing off the dust of another week of wanting another round of mud. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, all drowning in the drain, circling down the gutter with the pages of the plane. Everyday ordinary, tuned to the back porch frequency where the slow waves roll. Static from the city, can't get past my soul. Yeah, the signal's faint, but it comes in clear. Tuned to the back porch frequency when the rain is near. And found a moth on the screen, wings beating slow, bouncing off the mesh like it's trying to know what's on the other side. The light that calls its name. We all got our own bulbs burning just the same, warm and constant, sometimes too bright, flooding around them every day and every night. Wondering if we'll ever make it through the wire, or just leave a little dust when we finally tie. Or the flapping and the strain and the buzz and the burn. Maybe the lessons in the places we never learn. Maybe the answer simpler than the question we ask. Maybe life ain't a sprint, more like moving through Vaseline, slow and smooth, with a purpose you can't name. Just a feeling in your bones that it's all part of the game. And the game don't got winners, the game don't got scores. Just a porch and some rain and a couple screen doors slamming in the wind. Tuned to the back porch frequency where the slow waves roll. Static from the city, can't get past my soul. Yeah, the signal's faint, but it comes in clear. Tuned to the back porch frequency when the rain is near. My uncle used to tell me, boy, the blues ain't sad. They're just a different color when the happy turns bad. Like the sky before the storm, the greenish yellow glow. It ain't scared, it's just reminding you what you already know. That everything passes, the sun and the flood, the silence and the noise, the flesh and the blood. So when the rain comes calling, don't you hide from the door. Let it wash your porch clean, let it ask for more. Of the open, of the real, of the moments that don't lie. Just you and the weather watching the world go by. Yeah, back porch freaks, tune it in, tune it in.
Porch light flickering, calling the bugs. They dancing like they know something. I could use a hug from the kind of understanding that don't need to speak. Just a creaky wooden rocker and a view of the creek. While the moving backwards, if you watch it long enough, life gets contradictions when the going gets rough. So I sit here collecting the moments in between, the ones that don't make highlights, but they keep the scene cleaner than it ought to be, quieter than it seems. Found a feather on the step, must have fallen from a dream. Some bird flying over with a message to drop, but I ain't got the ladder to reach to the top. So I tuck it in my pocket, let it ride with the lint. Another small reminder that the details ain't printed in the books that they sell you about how to be a man. Sometimes the best instructions fit right in your hand and don't say a word. Blowing smoke ring songs up to the moon, singing verses with the crickets, a half-forgotten tone. Yeah, tonight's my congregation. The stars the moment last. Met an old man down by the railroad track. Said he rode the boxcars, but he never looked back. Had a suitcase full of nothing and a heart full of gold. Said the best stories happen when you let yourself unfold. Like a map in the rain, blurry at the edges. Finding your way through the vines and the hedges of a life you didn't plan, but somehow ended up in. Sipping from a cup that your granddaddy drank gin from back in the day when the rules were less and the man could get by on his wits and his guess. Now we scrolling for answers on a glowing glass screen, missing all the poetry that lives in between the ads and the alerts, the buzz and the beat, the kind of quiet truth that hits you when you're deep in a thought that don't got a hashtag or a name, just a flicker of a flame and the whisper of a sneeze.
Your smoke rings songs up to the moon, singing verses with the crickets, a half-forgotten tune. Yeah, the night's my congregation, the stars my stained glass, blowing smoke ring songs, let the moment last.
They say write what you know, so I write about the wait, the space between the knock and opening the gate, the pause before they answer, the breath before the word, the quiet kind of wisdom that's seen and I heard. Like the moon on the water, broken but whole, reflecting something bigger than a single lonely soul. Just pieces of a picture that nobody's seen, floating on the surface of a pond, cool and green and deep. Sunday got no shape, just a blur around the edges. Phone on silent, left the charge behind the hedges of the potted plant that's barely holding on. Kinda like my mindset since the dawn came and gone. Got yesterday's jeans in the pile on the floor, and tomorrow's plans knocking quiet at the door. But I ain't answering, let them knock till they blue. I'm out here on the sofa with a whole different view. Ceiling got cracks that look like a map to a place they ain't named yet, and that's a fact you can't Google your way to. Can't buy with an app, just gotta lay back and let your mind take a nap and see where it wanders. Up in the couch clouds, floating overhead, where the sharp edges soften and the hard words unsaid. Yeah, the world's down there buzzing, but I'm way above the sound. Up in the couch clouds, let my feet leave the ground. Neighbor's dog is barking at a shadow on the fence. Tell him, bro, I feel you, that don't make no sense. Chasing things that ain't there, jumping at the breeze. We all got our own ghosts ratting in the trees. Mine just talk slower and the mumble and a sigh. They don't ask for answers, they just hang nearby. Like the dust in the sunlight, dancing in the beam, making everything look softer than it really seems. And maybe that's the secret, maybe that's the key to seeing things not as they are, but as they could be. A little less heavy, a little more kind, with a little less clutter, taking up space in your mind, just open space. Up in the couch clouds, floating overhead, where the sharp edges soften and the hard words unsaid. Yeah, the world's down there buzzing, but I'm way above the sound. Up in the couch clouds, yeah, let my feet leave the ground. I heard a man on the corner with a guitar case wide, singing about his troubles with a smile he couldn't hide. Said the blues ain't nothing but a slow train coming through. You can either jump on board or just let it get to you. I dropped $1 in the case, he gave me a nod. Two strangers in the twilight sharing common ground with God, or whatever you wanna call the space between the notes, where the understanding lives and your understanding floats. Yeah, up in the couch cloud, floating overhead, where the sharp edges soften and the hard words unsaid. Yeah, the world's down there buzzing, but I'm way above the sound. Up in the couch clouds, let my feet leave the ground in the crowd's cloud. Let them spin, way above the sound, way above the sound. Check. Friday night traffic, I'm watching from the roof. Red tails blinking down below. They ain't got the proof that the sky keeps on spinning when you're standing still. Got a different kind of mileage from a different kind of thrill. My boots on the gravel, my back to the rail. Breathing in the night air, let the tension exhale. Felt a raindrop kiss my hand, then another on my face. The city lights get wavy when the mist fills the space. And I'm thinking about a woman with a laugh like smoke. Woman kinda hazy, every word she spoke was a riddle wrapped in velvet. A slow southern drawl left me leaning on the wind, waiting for a call. Drifting in the blue, where the real and the dream meet. The sidewalks far below, and the clouds are at my feet. Yeah, the world keeps on turning, but I'm taking my time. Drifting in the blue, let the rhythm unwind. Found $1 on the ground, heads up, must be my day. Or maybe just the universe's change of a way to say keep on walking, there's nothing to prove. Just let the good smoke rise and the bad vibes move. Got a hole in my pocket where the small change leaks, and a hole in my story that my old self speaks. But the new chapter's written in a lighter shade of gray. It's not about the destination, just the time it takes to stay present in the moment where the blues ain't blue. They're just indigo shadows with something to do. They wrap around your shoulders like a favorite old coat when you're too tired to swim and too loose to float. Drifting in the blue, where the real and the dream meet. The sidewalks far below, and the clouds are at my feet. Yeah, the world keeps on turning, but I'm taking my time. Drifting in the blue, let the rhythm unwind. They say time is a river and we're all just afloat. Some men building battleships and fixing my boat, patching up the places where the leaks come slow. Let the current take me where it wants to go. No rudder, no anchor, no map, no plan. Just a quiet understanding of a complicated man. And the blue keeps on stretching far as I can see. It's a hell of a good place to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Sun through the blinds paints a stripe on the floor. Ashtrays full of ghosts, can't complain anymore. Another night bled away, another sunrise yawn. The only thing that's heavy is the weight of the dome. My cup of cold brews got a film on the top. Been staring at the ceiling since the last record dropped, yeah. Thoughts moving slow like a river of tar. Wondering who you are from who you thought that you are. Maybe less, maybe more, just a knock at the door that you never get up for, just let it dissolve. Let the buzz be the answer, let the question be the breeze coming through the window, rustling the leaves. Just a low and slow burn, drifting out to space with a half-forgotten story. Time can't erase, yeah, the flames barely flicker and the smoke's in a trance. Just a low and slow burn, giving shadows a chance. Pavement soft in the heat, a mirage on the street. Saw a dog chase his tail till it fell asleep. That's a whole mood right there, the pursuit of the end. Round and round for nothing, my new favorite friend. Got a pen in my hand, but the words are on strike. They just hang in the air, the kind you feel but don't write. Like the hum of the fridge or the whir of the fan. The master plan's a mystery since the world began. So I'm cool with the mystery, the hazy in between. The spaces in the static where the quiet is keen. Where the sidewalk ends and the curb's overgrown, and you find a little piece you can call your own. Just a low and slow burn, drifting out to space with a half-forgotten story. Time can't erase, yeah, the flames barely flicker and the smoke's in a trance. Just a low and slow burn, giving shadows a chance. City hums a lullaby of distant sirens and breaks. Up here it's just a ripple on a very still lake. Every worry's just a ripple, every thought just a stone. You can watch them sink slowly, or you can leave them alone. Yeah. Leave them alone. Yeah. 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 Okay. Yeah. And the clock on the wall, it don't bother me now. It can tick if it wants to, I'm not telling it how. The ash on my sleeve from a thought that burned out. Yeah. Just a low and slow burn. Just a low and slow burn.